I mixed this vocal using my favorite plugins.
Trying to take my side, but I lie awake and realize.
And I'm going to share the secret to a great vocal mix. Number one is vocal automation. Half of the time, it's almost like you are relying on a compressor to just fix all the level ups and downs of your volume in your vocals, right? And how much can a compressor really handle all that? So you need to think about how you can balance the vocal volume even before you think about adding a compressor. So that's when automation comes into play. In this, my first plugin is a gain plugin. And when I click A, do you see that automation running all around? Yes, that's my vocal automation. So it's constantly going up and down everywhere so that the vocal stays in a same level even before any processing happens. So do your vocal automation first and rectify your volume level even before you think to process it. Number two is Autotune. We might have a misconception that Autotune, if you use it, it's going to make your song sound bad because it's going to make it robotic. And a lot of engineers believe that when you use Autotune, the moment you try to use an Autotune, you are a bad singer and you shouldn't even sing first. There's so many things like that, right? But in reality, it's never like that. You can use Autotune as long as you don't overuse it. It's good, right? Especially on like the general pop or the melody genres, you can use it, but don't overuse it. So almost always my tracks will have autotune. It's either Melodyne or any autotune plugin. In this case, I have Waves Tune plugin where I just need to input the key of the song, and in this case it's E natural minor, and I'm not given 100% autotune, just 70% correction, and this is the speed of how fast all those wrong notes are going to get corrected. So you need to use autotune and make sure that the track sounds clean and does not have any pitch problems. So use autotune in the right way. Let me quickly show how autotune works in this
Trying
song.
to take my side, but I lie awake and realize. Patience is my guide. With childlike wonder, I've almost gone under.
Any point, it never sounded bad. It's sounding good. This is just like a backup to make sure it's all good. So even without this, if you look at the singer's
Trying
voice,
to take my side, but I lie awake and realize. Patience is my guide. With childlike wonder.
it's good, right? It's not bad. So that's your target. Make sure when you record, try to nail the pitches and sing them correctly as much as you can. This is just in a way where one or two pitches, if it goes wrong, you have a way to fix it. Do not rely on this as a plugin to fix all your mistakes. Number three is EQ. EQ, EQ, EQ. It's the most important process in vocal mixing because you can either make or break your song with the help of EQ. I'll show you the EQ that I've used, two EQs, Pro Q3 to subtract the frequencies that sound really bad, and SSL EQ to make it sound good. So if you want to know the impact of this EQ, let me just turn these off and I'll play it.
Trying to take my side, but I lie awake and realize. Patience is my guide. With childlike wonder, I've almost gone under. I'm the greatest no longer, and we're getting no.
You heard that the moment I turn it off, it's not having life. The song sounds very empty. Vocal is not at all having life. So that's the impact that you can give in a Pro Q3 or generally in an EQ. So in Pro Q3, I majorly used to cut all these things. I always put a low cut and tame the mids. See, when we always say that mixes are muddy, it doesn't mean you need to cut the mids. Because what's a song without mid frequencies? You need to correctly figure out what frequencies in the mid area you need to remove, because if you totally remove it, you're not going to have any weight on the song. So be careful. That's why if you see, I've done a very minor cut and then I've used an EQ that gives me a lot of color. So I love to color my tracks, and so this EQ is going to give lots of saturation and boost. And if you see, I've boosted a lot of high frequencies, high mid frequencies and low mid, a little bit around 400. So this is without this SSL.
Time to take my side, but I lie awake and realize patience is my guide. With childlike wonder, I've almost.
So the moment I turn on SSL EQ, I hear that sparkle, that sharpness, and that's what the song needs. Otherwise, it's starting to sound really empty. So remember to add EQ in the right way. Combine EQ. You don't need to add everything using a singular EQ plugin. So if you have watched my videos and have learned something new and you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe to my channel. It really helps me to grow as a music producer and as an educator. Number 4 is saturation. Whenever it is a vocal track, saturation is the most important concept. I would say the most important right after EQ, because that's when you're going to really infuse a lot of quality, color, and depth and clarity and sharpness, and I can keep going on and on. But you can infuse all that into your vocal track through saturations. So it's basically giving you additional frequencies like harmonics, and it's going to boost your vocal track to a level where it feels like a professional did that. I'll show you what I mean. I've added 2 saturators. One is from Abbey Road saturator and the other one is from Fab Filters. So this is without these 2 saturations.
Time to take my side, but I.
Let's play a different section because this will be boring by this point. So
Childlike wonder, I've almost gone under.
with saturation.
Childlike wonder, I've almost gone under.
Do you hear that sizzling kind of feel to the vocals? Once again, I'm going to play this. This is without the saturations.
Childlike wonder, I've almost gone under. I'm the greatest no longer, and we're getting no younger. I'm hurried to make it, whatever that means. Decided to take.
So I am hearing that kind of glitter that you add on vocals, and it sounds like it's popping out really well, and that's the first thing you notice when you're listening to vocals. So if you need your vocals to pop out, saturation is the way to go. So design your saturation properly. There are unlimited number of plugins that can actually saturate your vocals. So choose the plugins wisely, because if you want to saturate the high frequencies, there are certain plugins that can do that. If you want more depth and more warmth, mid frequency is the way to go. So based on that, you need to combine. I used preset for Abbey Road's Vocal Enhance, and I customized this on my own so that I get that saturation sparkle inside mine. Number 5 is de-esser. So de-esser is another concept that a lot of people miss out on their vocal tracks. It's basically removing all these S, T, P, B, and any other harsh, crazy, irritating consonants that you hear on your vocals. So even on this song,
Childlike wonder, I've almost gone under. I'm the greatest no longer.
it sounds very good right now because I have added a de-esser, and I'm going to show you something crazy. Let's turn on this output S only. Listen to this. Let me turn off all this. So if you're wondering what all those weird sounds are, it's the sounds that will later be removed by this plugin. It's from Isotope. So you're basically removing all that harsh sounds, and this gives you an additional feature where you can just turn that on and know what those sounds are. And if you don't want it and you want to remove too much of it, you just bring down this value and it's going to drastically remove it. So I removed those S sounds. So let's listen to a section where we hear an S sound clearly. Ha, look at that. So let me remove this. So this is without the de-esser.
Time to take my side, but
With.
time to take my side, but I.
Ha, clearly listen to that side, that word. This is without.
Take my side, but
With.
my side, but I.
It's compressed and it's sounding a little better. It's smoother than how it was earlier. So these are really small things that sometimes we tend to overlook, and that plays a really important part in the listeners experience in listening to a song. So make sure you put a de-esser and tame all those harsh frequencies. If you want, you can even go a step further, because de-esser may not always target all those harsh sounds. Automate a de-esser, or in fact automate a volume fader with these harsh consonants. So wherever you hear that harsh consonant, drop down the volume a little bit, so that in one place where it's like really harsh, you don't have to make the de-esser work hard. If you just automate it, de-esser is still going to work the normal way. The other section where it's harsh is just going to go down a bit. So that's the better way of approaching. Number 6 is compressor. So I know I talked about automating volume, and that's the first thing we did. If you see over here, all those automations, but right after that, you still have to send it through a compressor, because that's when compressor is going to slightly rectify everything. And I'll show you what I mean. This is a regular stock compressor that I used, and let's look at the graph.
My side, but I lie awake and realize patience is my guide. With childlike wonder, I've almost gone under.
So my attack is quite fast, but my release is really slow, 260 milliseconds. So it's kind of gradually bringing it back to the normal volume and then reducing it. So I'm smoothing out all those highs and lows in the vocal. So although gain automation is there, I'm still relying on my compressor to kind of clean it up. And not just that, if you see on this distortion knob, I've put it to soft setting. So that's giving me a little bit extra saturation through this plugin Vintage Opto. By the way, Vintage Opto is really good for vocals. So if you want a compressor for vocals, this is really good. You can try that out. And I like to put this soft setting. So I've added that, and that's why there's this drastic change. You're going to be shocked by the level of change you're going to hear. I'm just going to turn off all the plugins apart from the gain automation and the Autotune. This is what the song really sounds like.
Time to take my side, but I lie awake and realize. Time to take my side, but I lie awake and realize.
Let's listen to another section. This is without the plugins.
Childlike wonder, I've almost gone under. I'm the greatest no longer, and we're getting no younger. I'm hurried to.
You feel that the song is opening a lot more right now. Before that, it's just dull. It's just dull. So that's the miracle that you can do by properly mixing your vocals. The 7th tip is adding your reverb and delay in the right way. Don't add reverb and delay directly on the channel strip, especially if you are starting out to mix like right now. Don't do that, because too many complications are there, and it's always best to have reverb delay on a bus track so that you have total control over it. So this is what I mean. This is a bus 1 that I have, and you hear that tiny reverb at the background. So that's this Valhalla plate with a very tiny decay, 1 second only, just to make sure the vocal is sounding a bit thicker and is part of the same environment as of other instruments like the bass and acoustic guitar. Let me quickly unmute that and show it to you. So I just want the same ambience here. So I've put a tiny reverb, and I've also spread it across. So this spreader is a stock spreader in Logic, which just pushes your sound to the left side and right side more than the center. So that's what I've done. And then I've added another reverb. So I love to combine different reverbs and different combination of reverbs together that will give me the sound that I'm actually looking for. This time, once again, I used Valhalla, but this was Vintage Verb, and I increased the decay. So this is what we have. So you hear the long reverb. This has a little bit of shelf curve. So I've basically done a bit of EQ here, a little bit of high cut. So this is without this. Okay, but with this. Now it's better, right? So let's play the song with respect to the drums and the bass. surprised because in this place, without the gain plugin, let me turn off everything. Listen to this.
Get out. I gotta get out.
You heard that volume went really high. I actually fixed that using that gain plugin. That's why you see that 5 dB decrease.
I gotta get out.
So now it sounds very pleasant to the ears. So that's the secrets that I have to share with you about vocal mix. These are some things that you need to kind of incorporate in your track. And if any of these plugins sounded a little vague, or if you were unsure about how to use any of these plugins, I've linked all the videos of EQ, compressor, de-esser and everything on this video when you were watching this and in the description. So if you have any doubts, go through those videos and you will get a clear understanding of them. If you have any more suggestions about videos, don't forget to comment, and I love to read your comment and make a video out of that. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.